And in our panel discussion of today, our guest here we have Fred Oloz and Ben Kiragu. Karibuni sana.
Asante sana.
Cheers, man.
So we'll just go straight into the questions, and for our first question of today, we'll ask, who do you think has the upper hand going into this game?
Well, I think both teams have earned their respect. Oilers earned being number one till 2 weeks ago. So it's a fair game. But as a KCB guy, I'll always give it to KCB.
Yeah, maybe I'll also ask Fred, who do you think has an upper hand?
No, I mean, on a day when a champion is playing, that is already several points away. But there's a lot of good pretenders in the Oilers environment right now. There's a lot more maturity in the team than was there just as recent as last season. So it's going to be a tough fight. KCB with the inch, but Oilers are definitely coming to play.
And having watched both Oilers and KCB this season, which players do you think will have their impacts in their various teams?
Well,
Let's start with KCB.
KCB, I think we've seen a very superiority in terms of leadership from what I'd call the leadership group. The captain, Curtis, leading from the front. Andrew Amonde, proving really he needs to be on the match day squad. So really, those two really stand out for me. And in the backs, we've seen leadership from Darwin, really experienced players. And even among the younger players, we have a very big squad. I think I don't envy the KCB coach right now when it comes to selection. I think he has a headache every Thursday when picking the squad.
Yeah, and how do you see this game happening? Because given the impact that it's creating, especially with regards to a player, how do you measure both the strengths of the team?
First of all, both teams have already qualified for the playoffs. It was very interesting that the whole league seemed to have been divided between the first four and then the next 8. So this game is about who will most likely play at home. So I'm sure, I mean, even with the championship credentials, KCB will be keen not to ensure that they play away from home. That's the first thing. But Oilers are as keen as KCB to try win this one so that they can play at home. So definitely one of the big factors in today's game. As it is always, you don't want to give any opponent a whiff into, the psychological edge. So for that reason, then both teams will definitely go at it.
I think Fred mentions an important point, really, and for Oilers seeking a first win against KCB, it's a big deal. And KCB, I'm sure they don't want that to happen today, especially not at home. The last game last season was very close, won at the last minute by KCB. So it's obviously a very, very close match. I would say it's probably the toughest game KCB yet playing this season.
For me, one of the big ones here is, it's like the champion and the pretender. There's a number of good players, very young players who are in the Oilers environment. We just want to see what they look like in a game such as this one. You remember that John Okoth has played very well for Kenya in the last tour of South Africa. You'll also realize that Simon Somu has finally got his fitness back and is therefore becoming very, very useful. So it will be good to see how the young sort of players come into play, how they match up to the more experienced sort of guys, and Oilers has got a number of those ones.
Do you agree with what he's saying?
For sure, and I don't want to talk about Oilers being young anymore. Yeah. They've played together for so long, and like I said earlier, they've really earned their place in Kenya rugby and earned their place in the playoffs. So it's definitely a cracker. And for them, as much as they probably want to win the first one against KCB, they're under less pressure. Yeah. So and I expect they'll really bring their game.
And in terms of set pieces and let's say lineouts and the scrums, who do you think will really have an upper hand going into this game?
The scrums certainly Oilers. Just looking at how they've played in the past and just how KCB has played in the last 2 games. The one against Mwamba was quite a shocker because I don't know whether that's what motivated the coaches positional changes in the scrum. Yeah, but the lineouts, you'll have Oliver Mangeni there, and you can tell, very experienced hand. both for Kenya and for KC.
And
That's
we
my
also-
thought.
we also seeing scrum doctors. Who do you think is?
Well, I want to leave it as a 50-50. Expect each team to really get their own. I don't expect much of set piece losses from either side. And you see, set pieces are what win you games. And I think both teams have dealt with the basics. And I'm expecting a very tough battle up front, really, in the front row, and also want to see how the lineouts even out.
And from your views of the games that both Oilers and KCB have played, this being a very crucial game, do you think they'll go for territory, or they'll have to take it a notch higher by maybe going open play?
I always think it's situational, and the best way, I think, how KCB has always dominated is really keeping it very tight, and I'm sure both teams are able to do that. Open play is always an option that shows up. It's situational, but I expect this to be really a boiler room kind of game.
Gentlemen, may the best team win.
Indeed.
For sure. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for agreeing to conduct this interview.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, how do you feel about today, about this game?
Oh, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm nervous. It feels like the old playing days when the nervousness check in just before kickoff.
Yeah.
So it feels it's a huge game for us. It's an important game fixture for us. We prepared well coming into this fixture, but now I think it's up to the boys to basically do what I've actually instructed them to do, and I hope if they stick to the plan, should be able to get a favorable outcome.
Yeah, and what strategy do you intend on using? Is it the defend or the attack strategy?
For us, it's a bag of both tricks, so we want to use attack more. Attack is the best form of defense. If you can attack the whole game, then we won't have to defend. But at the same time, we have to defend well. We have to be realistic. KCB will have the ball. We look at getting off the line very quickly and trying to cut the momentum, because they're a big side. Once they get into a rhythm, it will be hard for us to stop them. So we have to get in their faces, and on attack we need to move them wider, because they're also heavy. Try and use the flanks, and see if we can get forward football, and from that create opportunities to attack. But we're here to play rugby. We're here to look for space. We're here to run. We're here to kick. So it will be an exciting game.
Now you mentioned that you're doing KCB. You're actually going to attack KCB, and we understand that KCB is the defending champion. So how are you going to actually capture that into perspective?
I know KCB have a top side. They've been champions for the last 3 years or so. So it's not. It will not be a huge. It will be a huge task for us to be able to attack them throughout the game. But I think we have a very good side. I think my team has developed over the years, and especially this season. We are much fitter, we are more skilled, and we believe in our abilities. So we've not played them this season, and we believe if we stick to our structures, we should be able to get opportunities to score. So I just believe that once the opportunities come, are we able to convert them and score and get points. But generally, I'm excited and looking forward to the game.
Yeah, and how good is your scrum strategy? We're seeing the likes of Baraza. So how good is that?
Oh, Baraza is a good scrum coach. We've had a good scrum the past seasons, but this year we've not been consistent. So building for this game, we wanted to build on consistency. We wanted a solid platform where we can launch our plays. KCB are a good side. They have experienced forwards who've played for the national team. But for us, we are looking at those 8 players giving us a platform to attack and get front football. And I believe we're going to use that tactic to our advantage.
Going into this game, the boys are prepared well, so I have a good feeling. I have that feeling when it comes to 80 minutes, we'll be the winners. I have the confidence the boys have.
So from your previous game, you had a really bad day in office in terms of your lineouts. Have you really worked on it coming into this game?
Yeah, and I like to say the break was really critical for us because it gave us more time for us to work on lineouts, and we've prepared. We've prepared compared to the last game. We've prepared better. I think lineouts are going to be better today.
And in regards to your squad, do you believe this is the squad that will win you your first ever Maiden Cup, Kenya Cup champion?
Having trained from pre-season, the same people we've been together. I think there is a bonding. I think there is understanding of each other better. And that is the critical thing for me with my team. And I think it's the squad that is going to lift the trophy.
I've seen that you've made major changes to your squad. You've brought in the big guns. How do you feel going forward to this game?
Honestly, I don't think there are guns anywhere. No major changes because they've been playing throughout the season. It's just different personnel for different game and all that. But we look forward to a good game. I mean, the Oilers also brings in a good game, a good expansive game, and all of us are here to enjoy it.
Having most of your experienced player in the team, what do you think they'll bring in going to this game?
I don't think experience works much. I think this game is about work rate and it's about awareness. So I don't think experience is that much, but I mean it's an expansive game. An expansive game, experience doesn't count. It's who works harder on the day. When it comes to transition, defense, attack, and attack, defense, and set piece square.
And in terms of your strategy, do you think you'll go for the attack or you'll go for the defense, especially now going into Oilers, knowing them that as having a very good defense team?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to play a total game of rugby. When the situation requires us to defend well, we have to defend well. When the situation requires us to attack well with the ball, we have to do well. Yeah.
All right,
the
that's
most important thing.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Can forget, I'm living up every breath. I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel?
The game today was pretty scrappy on our side. Our set pieces were not going, and you know, when your set pieces are not good, you're likely not to get the right ball to strike. But we're going to work on that this coming week. Come the Strathmore match, we're going to be ready for it. They're a pretty good side. They have come of age, and even they have set pieces. They tried, they held us in the scrum. They stole some of our line-out balls, and their defense was quite good, given they are the team that we've put the least score this season. Yeah, so their defense was good, and we got frustrated at some point, and that is something we are going to work on. And probably when we meet next time, things are going to be different.
The game was tough. Oilers gave us a really good game, and above all, we managed to emerge victorious. What I saw in the game, they were really agile. They play. They really hold on onto their ball. So they gave us a really good game. Yeah.
I'm disappointed, and I'm happy at the same time. It's a game that we put in a lot of effort to win. We came short. I'll take the confidence from this game and pick the lessons and prepare for the next one. There are a few areas that we need to improve, but the boys today show that they can play at the same level with KCB or even better. So those are the confidence we'll take. And yeah, we'll continue preparing for the match that really matters. That's the playoffs in 3 weeks. So yeah, a tough one, but it's what it is, it's sports.
Today's game was good. I'm proud of the boys, the way they have played. Hata kama tumepoteza, but it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it, and wish them the best in the next one.
It has been very interesting game. It's not what we expected as a result, but we always pick lessons. We correct where we made mistakes, but I believe we were meant to win. I'll not talk about the downside of the referee. I like being positive. We were meant to win, and in my heart, I'm sure we won. We'll take it as a loss for today, but a build-up for the next game, probably when we meet in semis, I assume. All players gave us their best, but I'd like to point out Ominde, who was our organizer. He organized the game very well. The decisions he made, especially with the penalties and the kick to touch, all that, I think they impacted our game positively. But generally, all the players gave it their best. And I can assure KCB next time, I'm sorry.
The game was really tough. The Oilers boy brought their all, and our team tried, but there's great areas of improvement. I think the games are getting harder, and it's going to crunch time. So it's quite a few mistakes we've seen, and I think the technical bench has picked the opportunities that we can close to, because we're still going for 5-pit, by the way. So we look forward to better play in the coming. We have 2 more games. I think we're playing Strath and Cabra, so we better play. But the Oilers boys really brought their all, and less mistakes, as obviously you saw. Of course, a few of our mistakes cost us. That's why you could see all the penalty, the scores came from their penalty. So yeah, lessons learned.
About the game, it was quite tough, but the mental toughness at the end of the game gave us the win, and it was all about testing the character as a man and as a player, which I think the boys from my side did quite well, and at the end of the day they emerged victorious.
Game ya leo ilikuwa sawa, but Oilers ingewin, by the way, ingewin. Ni vile hawakukaza. Sijui kama mnaelewa. Kulikuwa na time yenye walikuwa wanalegeza. CB iko timu kubwa, but Oilers pia iko na advantages zenye inaweza kuwa ina take. Wakipata hiyo chance kidogo, wanaweza funga timu kubwa kama CB. Hao si wanyonge, hao ni wanoma.
It was a very entertaining game of rugby. I mean, the lead kept changing from side to side, and I think if you just wear a fan's perspective, we are very happy. I think we've not seen such a competitive game for a long time, because KCB has been very dominant, and Oilers are on the right path. I think they'll be a real threat when it gets to semi-final time. And I think they'll take a lot of confidence out of this game. And they played very, very smartly. So they must be very proud of themselves, and they just have to continue working hard. I was very impressed, especially with their set pieces, the line out. You know, KCB has been the strongest line out team in Kenya for many years, but they did very well in that regard. So kudos to Oilers.
Today's game has been very, very, I don't know what to say, but first kudos to Oilers. That was a very good game, and I can say the whole season, this is the first game as KCB we've really gotten competition, yeah? And they beat us in all departments. Okay, the scoreboard says something else, but if you ask me, I think in the field, Oilers gave their all. We had our chances, we didn't take our chances. Oilers took all their chances, except the last few minutes I felt that they should have gone for a line-out because they had a stronger line-out, and they decided to do scrumming, and where we were not strong, but we decided to turn it around, and that's what gave us the game. So I feel that rugby is growing. If you look at a few years ago, it was a two-horse race, which was KCB and Cabras. But right now, you cannot despise Oilers. You can't despise Strathmore, a team that I played for. If you look at today, Strathmore fought really hard, and at some point it was 15-3. But as the laws of the games go, and because of the experience of Cabras, that's how they were able to extend their lead to, I think, 32-3. The game has ended 32-3. But that should tell you that teams are coming up and they're knocking. And the disadvantage these two teams have, which is KCB and Cabras, is we are old players. We're in our 30s, yeah? If you look at Oilers, I'm 100% sure it's not so many players who are in 30s. If you look at Strathmore, no one is in 30. So this is the future of the game. So they are growing slowly by slowly. So once we finish this season and we go to next season, definitely there's going to be so much improvement, and Kenya Cup will become exciting. It's a pity to see so many teams going down. Like we have, I think, around 6 teams that are fighting relegation, which is sad. 2 of them were actually in my heart and I've played for them before. But these are teams that we're actually looking at and saying, if all of them were playing at the level where we are, Kenya Cup would have been very exciting, meaning we'd have a very strong Kenya team. 10 years to come, I see ourselves becoming competitors actually in top flight rugby, because right now Kenya Rugby Union actually put steps forward, and having been a captain for the Kenya 15s, I was lucky enough to have played Vodacom Cup. I don't think there's any other team in Kenya team that has actually been fortunate enough to actually participate in the Vodacom. We were there and we didn't go to participate. We actually won games, and some of them we lost, and some of them we lost badly, but it was a learning curve to see where our opponents are actually doing. And if you look at it right now, is with the preparation we are doing. For example, like tomorrow under 20s are starting, you know, because they have a tournament that is coming. Our big boys who are the Simbas should be starting sometime soon, because they're supposed to be going for repechage. Not repechage, they're supposed to be going to be to African Cup Confederation, which is supposed to be in France. So the union is really trying. All I'll urge, or all I'm hoping for, is that when the years go by, we'll have corporates who actually believe in the sport. Because if you look, the difference between us and, for example, South Africa, is the monetary bit. Money comes through sponsors. You know, the more money that comes into the team, the more elite the players will become. Because, for example, myself, I'm a business development manager. I work. If I can be able to park that aside and I'm here doing 8 to 5 rugby, trust you me, my level of rugby will grow. It won't be the same for me doing 5 to 8. Yeah, so I believe we're in the right direction. Only that if the outsiders who are fans like myself now can be able to rally corporates to try and come back and give back to clubs. For example, if you look at Kenya Cup, Menengai, I've been fortunate enough to sponsor Oilers and Nakuru, yeah? And then there is Cabras, who are being sponsored also by a brother to Menengai. Then there's us, who are being sponsored by the bank. If all the clubs were being sponsored, rugby would have been different. But you can imagine, we are okay because we get something small, you know, for something that sorts me out in terms of food, in terms of transport. But there's a club out there who's in Kenya Cup who has nothing. So today you'll have all the players. Tomorrow you might have 2 or 3 players.
Kenya rugby fans, I'm very pleased to be on Oilers TV. And kudos Oilers for this initiative. This is a trend-setting move to have your own TV station. And we hope you get as many viewers as possible on YouTube.
This is Oilers TV.
This is Oilers TV.
This is Oilers TV, and thank you so much, and wish you the best for the rest of the season. Rugby wins at the end of the day. We'd like to see better quality rugby, a step up, you know. When I don't only look at club rugby, I look at the national rugby, and I'm glad there's competition, you know. You cannot be the best and in two teams that are alone. Cabras KCB Oilers is here. I mean, they joined the Kenya Cup teams very recently. They're among the youngest and they're in the top 4.
So this is the future of the game.
How it's supposed to